Sharp Bets Fantasy Sets Week 2. Can you believe it? Sir, I have to give you a shout out here for dedication. He is at the Jersey Shore, actually taking time out of a firefighter convention on the beach. Show him the background, sir. Literally, the dunes in the background.
Yeah, we out here. Let's get
and he's alone and went to a isolated spot where he could either get murdered or do the show. But if he gets murdered, at least
my
it's on video.
It was nice knowing you.
Yes. So, sir, nice to meet you. Nice to know you.
Let's get
Nas, with you as well. Another victory. We owe you an apology because your prediction with the Pats finishing last might come true, even though you probably will. And Mike, how you doing, man? I hope you're good on your second week back. How'd you enjoy hearing yourself for the first time on a podcast?
Kind of weird, but yeah, kind of get used to it now.
Okay.
I was excited. The Bills won a heartbreaker almost. They almost lost that game.
They did. And just to let you know, I did cover the 6.5, but we'll get to our picks later on. I have to say, though, this is, I don't think ever happened, mainly because we always had a Jet fan on the show. We all won. Our teams all won. 4-0 right now.
Oh, boys, come on, let's get this win.
Yeah, and Tim, being a Jet fan, always ruined it because the Jets never won. So, 4-0 here, feel good. Feel really good. So
if you bet our teams, you're doing well right now.
Exactly. So I want to do a quick roundtable, though. I'll start with you, Mike, because you mentioned your team. I like to go to everyone's team first. The Bills game. Flaws, how excited were you that football was back? Were you nervous at all?
Yeah, so I wasn't watching any game but the Bills game on Sunday, so I don't know what happened to the other 1 p.m. games. But, yeah, the first half was kind of – we only had like 5 or 6 minutes of possession. We didn't really have the ball. Just a weird first half. But second half, we got it going. Josh got it going, and we ended up getting the dub. Defense stepped up in the second half.
You're right, and he had a nice little start to what most people might think is going to be an MVP year, and he's going to have to do a lot more carrying the load this year, I feel. So good for Josh, good for you.
After week 1, he's actually the leader in MVP guys on DraftKings.
All right, it's week 1.
Calm down.
I'm saying DraftKings made the rules, not me. They put him at plus 500 now.
All right. Well, why don't you put some money on it? You go. I bet you did already. You did, yeah. Nas,
Damn right you did.
I mean, listen, I'm sure a lot of people are listening. Well, whoever's listening, I'm sure a lot of them got knocked out of their survivor pools because of your team. I have to say, were you expecting a win? Be honest. And how awesome was that to beat the Bengals?
I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't expecting a win, but I did. I have proof that I did say don't be surprised if the Patriots cover the spread.
Okay. Well,
but I mean,
if you had balls, you would have picked them last week in the picks.
Hey, why pick them, old boy? Come on.
I mean, going in, I didn't think that was going to be the game plan. I thought we were going to have to keep up scoring with Joe Burrow. I thought they were going to score a lot. But it came down to time of possession. I think we had the ball for 25 minutes. Defense stepped up when we needed to, and Ramondre Stevenson played his tail off. So,
right, and a pretty good chance to go 2-0 with the Seahawks coming in this week. Sir, a lot of people are probably pissed at your team because a lot of people drafted Christian McCaffrey 1 overall.
All right, so hold on. First of all, hold on. That's a good example. Listen, all your top picks, make sure you handcuff your top running back in fantasy. Because, if you drafted McCaffrey, you should have drafted Jordan Mason as well. That's your own damn fault.
Well, why? Why though? Explain that. Because
always handcuff your top. Injuries happen. Football's a violent game.
Right, but
I agree.
But wouldn't you say that you're expecting to be durable and then you're just wasting a roster spot for a backup running back?
No. Listen, no matter who my first round pick is, I'm always trying to handcuff the running third. Because usually I draft the running back first overall or second round. I always handcuff my running back. Always. Because the football happens. We're not playing two-hand touch here. So right. I'm a handcuff him regardless. So
all right. Well,
if you took McCaffrey, you should have handcuffed Mason.
So everyone out there didn't do that, you're an idiot, according to Sir. But you guys...
Absolutely. I mean,
Sir,
not like that, but...
You guys picked up... I mean, you're feeling yourself right now. You got your shades on the beach. You picked up exactly where you left off last year. Niners looked amazing again. Their offense looked great. It scored on 8 or 9 straight drives. It got a little shaky there. So is that exactly the start you expected, or were you expecting the Jets to have a little more punch?
Listen, I mean, I'm not taking anything with the Jets, but my thing is, the coach is Robert Saleh, who was the D coordinator behind Shanahan. You would think Shanahan would know a little bit of his tendencies. So you know what? I'm not. I didn't think we were going to beat him like that, but I'm not surprised by the results.
Didn't even think of that. Good point. And my Cowboys, if I'm being honest, I was expecting a loss or a tough game in Cleveland. Top defense last year, and I mean, I don't know what the hell happened with the Browns. That was a blowout. The game wasn't even as close as 33-17. So thankfully for Dak, who's a good guy, a good leader in the clubhouse. Is it a clubhouse? No, locker room. Whoa, I got my sports mixed up here. So sorry, Yanks in a pennant race. Give me a break. So
no, Dak got his money, bro.
He got his money, and it would have been the worst thing for him, especially with those insufferable sports shows on TV, if he actually would have went out and threw a 3-interception performance. So he had a stable game, didn't have to do much, but thankfully for him, he escaped the media scrutiny for a week. So
explain to me why he got the contract before the game and not after. Like they did it like 10 minutes before the game.
Yeah, he should have been out there.
Jerry Jones is all about paying somebody last minute. He did it with CD. He did it with Dak. He's all about paying last minute.
There's so much pressure going into week 1, though. Like, wait till after the game.
And I guess we'll start with that before we get to the games really quick, because this will be a quick segment. So the Dak contract. Okay, I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. I want to go around and you ask. So as somebody who dealt with quarterback hell, which Nas is going through right now, Mike, you went through it for a long time to Josh Allen. Sir, you've been pretty fortunate. Except for the Tim Rattay days. Tim
Rattay was awful, bro. That's my man, though. I still rep him, but he's
back
awful.
in like 05, 06.
No, thank you.
You went through it from Jeff Garcia to
hold on. You put some respect on Jeff Garcia's name first.
No, I know. Once you got rid of Jeff Garcia, though, you went through the quarterback.
Absolutely.
Right. So as somebody who went through it from Aikman to Romo, 6 years of mediocre patchwork guys, I understand Dak hasn't won anything yet. It's not easy to win a Super Bowl. It's not easy to get there. Unless you're the Bills and lose 4 in a row. Sorry, Mike. So it's not easy to get there, but I am happy as a fan that I have stability at the most important position in all of sports. And I've had it as a fan for 18 straight years with Romo and Dak. A lot of franchises can't say that. So me personally, I don't know the logistics of finances. I don't know like the cap things, the cap it. So like I don't have a problem with it. And until you give me a better option, Dak has led a top 5 offense a lot of his years in the league. I know he hasn't gotten it done in the playoffs, but he's good enough, and you take your shot in the playoffs with him. So, Mike, how do you feel about that contract? I think you might be a little with me here since you went through quarterback hell.
Yeah, I mean, I get the whole scenario where you don't have a quarterback in a long time. Like you said, I've been through that. So if you find one that's decent, I do believe in finding one through the draft. But you guys invested a lot of of your capital and money into Dak right now, and I do like the move. But I would have had mine if you guys don't sign him and go draft trade up for a quarterback in next year's draft. So but what you're going to get with Dak. It's just his playoff Dak is going to show up, or his playoff Dak not going to show up. His playoff record and the way he plays in the playoffs is abysmal.
And it sounds like a cop-out, but I say you just got to take your shot with him and hope everything goes right. He's one of those guys. So it is what it is. Nas, I think you're going to have a different viewpoint than me on this one.
No, I mean, I kind of agree with you. I get it. You really don't have another option. Like, I feel like with the Cowboys, they want to win now. So it's like you don't have time to develop and wait another 3-4 years for another like once you draft him to get another quarterback to develop him, get him in the play system with Mike McCarthy. So I feel like the contract was coming, but the only problem I have is what's the difference between 10 minutes before game time and back in July when he wanted it?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
Deadlines make deals, bro.
There you go. Get that on a shirt.
The way Jerry Jones works is same thing with CD. He pays CD late. Why couldn't he pay him last year or a month ago?
Even when I was a kid, even when I was a kid, Emmitt Smith held out for like the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, I believe he missed a couple weeks. I think they lost the first 2 games. Got paid, and then all of a sudden they start. Yeah.
Another question: what happens if the Cowboys don't make the playoffs this year?
Mike, in my opinion, Mike McCarthy would be gone, and Bill Belichick would be your coach.
Okay.
And I think if Belichick is taking that job, that means one of the greatest coaches of all time believes in the quarterback.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like he wouldn't take a job with a quarterback he did not believe in. That's just my opinion. Sir, what do you feel about the contract? He's no Tim Rattay, but
I'm not surprised. Like I knew he was like even if he didn't sign that contract, what guaranteed money was what, like 40 million, 50 million, something like that for a quarterback. I'm not surprised.
And he's a good guy. He owns the locker room. He's well respected. It's just
I'm not surprised that he got paid that. That like
it is what it is. That's the market.
I was shocked. You can't say you weren't shocked, Scott, when you saw that.
Not really.
I wasn't, because like once Trevor Lawrence and Tua got their contracts, in my mind, how can Dak not be like, well, I deserve more than them? Like,
a lot of these quarterbacks are overpaid anyway. So
yes,
I'm not surprised.
And it just sucks because it might hamper who they could get, but that's where you have to draft well. You said draft a quarterback. Go draft your defensive players. And for the most part, Jerry Jones can get all the shit he wants. People can give him shit. He's drafted pretty damn well for the last 15 years. He's built that offensive line. Most of the defensive players are draft picks. The only signing they've had was Stephon Gilmore, basically, last year, who was like a main component to a position. So they do draft pretty well. And you lucked out with Dak in the 4th round. And Romo was an undrafted free agent. The chances you strike gold 3 times in a row, that is very rare. So, like, you just got to hope, and my fingers are crossed. More than likely, it's not going to happen, but, hey, I might die tomorrow. I don't got time to rebuild either. So, let's just wait.
Hey, you still got to pay Micah. Micah's next.
I know, yeah, and that's one you have to pay. All right, so let's get into what seemed to be a big debate in one of our group chats. That Sir's not in. Nothing personal, sir. You just don't play basketball.
Why am I invited? What happened?
You don't play basketball with us, man. It's a basketball group chat.
Y'all uninviting the kid? I feel you.
All right, so we're gonna start with what was a big topic last week was Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, which to this day, I don't understand why they think that was a touchdown at the end of the game. His foot was clearly out of bounds, but that's for something else. Isaiah Likely, great game, but a little loony at the end with them thinking it's a touchdown. Mike, I want to pass it to you because I think I'm with you. Lamar Jackson, as great as he is, there is about 10 quarterbacks I might take over him as far as when it's time to make the big throw, when it's time to win the game. A lot of quarterbacks miss passes, but that one to Zay Flowers basically embodies every criticism about him. And it's not fair that it's one throw, but it's just you're giving people a lot of fuel. People like you who do not think he's a top 5. So explain, Mike, please.
Yeah, I mean, a quarterback you're meant to throw the ball, and that's something Lamar Jackson cannot do. Yes, he has the occasional great dart throw in the middle of the field, but he cannot throw to the outside of the field. And that Isaiah Likely touchdown before the Zay Flowers, he completely missed them too. Mm-hmm. So those are 2 crucial plays to win the game, or to at least tie it, that he didn't hit. And there was plenty of plays during that game prior. When Lamar Jackson got the league, I never saw him as a thrower. He was never a thrower to me. He was just uses his legs. You take away Lamar Jackson's legs, he's not in the NFL. You take away Josh Allen's legs, he's still in the NFL. Not to compare the two already, but still, that's what Lamar Jackson has, that he has legs. I mean, quarterback is supposed to throw the ball, and that's something he can't do. So you're not in my top 5. And honestly, he might not even be in my top 10.
All right, well, question, and I agree with you to a sense, Mike, because I don't need my quarterback to run for 150 yards. I need him to throw for 300. That's me. I'm in that vibe of the NFL, as great as an athlete and a player he is. And I'll never take away his 2 MVPs, but I want to ask you, you just said top 10. I'll get to you, Nas. I know you're chomping at the bit here. So, all right, Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, and Lamar Jackson. How are you rating them if you're going to take them to start a team?
Like those 3? I'd probably go, I don't know, depending on the procedures that Jalen has. I would probably go Dak. I'd probably go Jalen, Dak, Lamar.
Interesting. Okay. So, yeah, I could probably go through more quarterbacks, but you might not have him in your top 10, even though he's a top 10 talent. I get what you're saying here. All right. Nas, you're one of the biggest Lamar defenders. I feel like maybe we're a little old and stubborn, and we like the old NFL. The guys who throw the ball and we just look at a running quarterback. I hate using that terminology. I really do. As something we've never really seen win. So it's hard for us to really take him serious. So Nas, go on, defend your boy.
I mean, I agree with that. I feel like now there's a new that the game is revolving, so it's different. You know, like look at Anthony Richardson. He's running the ball a lot. He can throw it, but the only thing that bothers me a lot is I know you could say what if, but if Lamar makes that throw, we're not having this conversation here. That's what really bothers me. And the only reason why we're having this conversation about Lamar is because they try to put him on a platform with Mahomes because Josh Allen couldn't do it. So nobody really can step up to Mahomes and beat him. So now Josh Allen had what, 2 or 3 years where he couldn't beat him. So now the next best talent is Lamar. So that's why Lamar is so high on people's scales and not top tens and this and that, because there's no other Joe Burrow was hurt last year, so that's probably why. But I feel like everybody's just up on Lamar because they're trying to get him to be on Mahomes, the Patrick Mahomes. But I feel like, I mean, he missed a throw. Everybody missed throws.
You say that we're not having this conversation, but don't you think like, all right, when you're pointing out throws he makes, isn't that telling that he doesn't make a lot? And what I mean by that is when he makes that throw, you're like, see, he can make the throw. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, if you have to say, if you could pinpoint good throws someone makes, isn't that telling that he doesn't make enough good throws?
It is, but I feel like he's just like the game. That's just he's a runner. Like I'm right. Like I don't. That's just like
who are you
him.
Taking? Sir, I'll get you. Who are you taking, Josh Allen or Lamar?
I'm taking Lamar. If you want to be technical, they're the same quarterbacks. How are they different?
Mike, they're not the same quarterbacks.
Winning wise, how are they different?
Winning wise, Lamar Jackson's 2-4 in the playoff. Josh Allen's 5-5. Lamar Jackson has 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions in the playoff. Josh Allen has 20 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in the playoffs. Their numbers are completely different in the playoffs.
So why hasn't Josh Allen gotten a Super Bowl?
Because Mahomes is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
And you can say the same thing about Lamar. You can say the same thing about anybody in the AFC besides Joe Burrow.
One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. Oh. Yeah, with rushing stats, but throwing the football, he's not a good quarterback throwing the football.
I can bet you if Josh Allen played Patrick Mahomes last year at Orchard Park Stadium, he would have lost that game.
No, it's not true.
Okay. Well, Nas, here to Mike's point, though, you say how come he hasn't won a Super Bowl? He did everything he could that one game in what? 13 seconds, Mahomes drives down the field. That's not on Josh Allen.
Can't play defense, and he can't catch the ball.
Just like you say all the ball. You say all the time, Scott. It's not meant to be. It happens.
That's why I don't, and I always tell you guys this. I don't go by records in playoffs. I go by my eye test, because there's so many factors that happen.
That question. Why does winning only matter with certain quarterbacks?
Explain. What do you mean?
Like Brock Purdy. He gets wins, he gets W's. He NFC Championship game, Super Bowl, but nobody talks about him as a top tier quarterback. Why? Like he wins. You just said Josh Allen wins. Lamar, Brock Purdy wins, but nobody talks about him as one of the best quarterbacks in the game.
Maybe because he's got a top 5 running game and top 5 defense, it kind of like skews it. I'm just saying what people might be saying.
Baltimore's defense ain't nice. Like Baltimore's running game ain't good. Like the Bills. Come on now, like. If we're talking about wins, well, come on, Brock Purdy wins just as much as everybody else. But they think he's a scrub, or they say, he was the last pick in the draft.
Sir, sir, I get where you're coming from, but let's be honest. You taking Josh Allen or Brock Purdy?
No, I'm just saying. Your argument was, this guy wins. Wins only meant for certain quarterbacks. That's my question. Like,
I like Brock Purdy. I have nothing against Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy might be on the outside of my top 10, but he's right there. He's probably 9 or 10.
I'm saying he gets bad mouth so much, but wins losses, he gets them W's.
Mike, can we hear your top 10? Can we hear your top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL right now? Just quick. I don't want to dive in. I just want to hear your top 10.
I'd have to think about it, but obviously, Mahomes, Josh,
Burrow,
Rodgers, Stafford.
Rodgers still?
I think Rodgers throwing the football. Yeah, I mean, I think he can still sling it. Yeah. Herbert.
You're probably Herbert, Love, Dak, maybe people like that around him.
Yeah, Love, Dak, Hurts. Okay. Well, yeah, I would have to. Yeah. I could text you my list now, but.
Next week, have a list ready. Next week, have a list ready. And then, but I'll say this about Lamar. It's like, so and this is where the MVPs are so tricky. It kind of reminds me of Eli being a Hall of Famer, those 2 Super Bowl rings. It's like, is he a Hall of Famer? In my opinion, no. That has nothing to do with me being a Cowboy fan. I swear to God, I watched this guy play. I just don't think he was a Hall of Fame quarterback. And it's the same with Lamar with the MVPs. You'll never see a 2-time MVP be this ridiculed, this held to a standard that just almost seems unfathomable. But
not for nothing. I get the same hate. Like, let's talk about Eli. Eli got those 2 rings because of his defense. It wasn't because of him. It was because of the defense and the pass rush. And they're like, oh, it's just a hater. Not really. Like, I know football. You know what I'm saying?
And they had 2 like lucky catches.
But that's the thing. You don't have to take away from the rings. You don't have to take away from the MVPs. 2 things could be true. Yeah. You know, Lamar Jackson is a 2-time MVP. That's true. He's also not one of the most elite passers in the league. Also true. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I digress. That's a good little back and forth, and we'll see how the season plays out. Now I'm kind of hoping for a Lamar versus Josh Allen AFC Championship, so you guys can go at it. I tend to lean more with Mike on this.
As long as Patty Mahomes is out, you'll fight regardless. Let's get it. Come on.
Yeah, I tend to lead more with Mike on this. Maybe maybe it's because we're cut from the same era. Just it's hard for us to see it, but it is what it is. Bengals Pats we touched on already. It's a hell of a win by the Patriots. And
1-0.
I want to just touch really quick on the Niner and Jet game. So, Mike, you're in the division of the Jets. How do you think Rodgers did? You think it's a big deal? Jets. I know we're in a chat and some Jet fans are panicking already, which makes absolutely no sense.
Rodgers hasn't played in over a year. He had to knock some rust off. He didn't really play any preseason games, I don't think. So he hasn't really played a game. So he's got to knock some rust off. I think he'll be fine. Niners defense is a top 3 defense in the league. He did have a crap game, though. Rodgers did not play well. I didn't like the way he played. But, I mean, you got to give the guy at least another week or 2, and we can judge him then.
Agreed. Nas, what do you think? You're also in the division. You're at the top of the division. The 1-0 Patriots tied for the division lead. And if you win this week, you'll be tied with only one team because the Bills and Dolphins play each other. Look at that.
Sir.
How you feel?
Sir.
You still scared about Rodgers, though? You think he'll come around and he'll get his footing?
I mean, he's going to be Rodgers.
Yeah.
You can't take that away from him. I mean, I think, honestly, I get that it's the Niners. They got playmakers everywhere, but I feel like the main concern of the Jets is the defense. They didn't look like themselves in week 1. Not saying that they were going to shut the 49ers down tremendously, but come on. They didn't look up to par.
You're right, and you can't let that scrub Brock Purdy when it gave.
Watch your mouth. Come on.
Sorry.
As I said before, Shanahan Shanahan knows Salah's defense. He was his coordinator for about 2 years. Like, come on now. Like he knows his tendencies. Shanahan's a mastermind when it comes to offense. So I'm not surprised by that he did what he did. I'm saying, like, Rodgers didn't look that bad. Like, the defense gave up 32 points. Defense is supposed to be, what, top 3-5 in the league?
Yeah.
Am I wrong on that? And they gave up 32 points to them boys? Come on now. Like,
why did they sit Rodgers in the end of the 4th? Like, what was the point of that?
What's the point?
They were down 20 points.
Yeah, the game was over.
Sit behind down, man.
Look at what happened to Jordan Love. Last thing you want is for him to get injured at the end of the game.
You're down 20. Sit his behind down. See you next week.
Let's gel with the receivers. Let's make some throw. Like, why are we?
You can do that versus the Patriots in 2 weeks on a Thursday night when they beat the crap out of you guys.
I'll be there. I will be there.
I do want to touch on one thing before we get to our picks. Is it just me now, Nas? You're young, so you don't remember. When we were kids, a kicker kicking a 50-yard field goal was, like, insane. Is it me? Or are these kickers just making 60-yarders with ease now?
I was talking to one of my boys. These kickers were balling out this week.
It's unbelievable.
Kai Fairbairn hit 350s. Groupie from the Saints hit a couple 50s. Like, these kickers was balling. Like, any kicker you had in fantasy probably put you about 20 points.
You're almost better off taking a kicker now than a wide receiver. Like, your kicker's more valuable than your second wide receiver at this point. They set up
in a lot of leagues. These kickers will put up more points in the first round pick.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Mike, you remember when we were kids, like a 48-yarder was like, oh my God. Now they set up for 50-yarders and it's fucking right through. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And the Cowboys kicker would have tied Justin Tucker's. I don't know if you guys saw this. He was set up to tie Justin Tucker's record, but the Cowboys had to delay a game. But he kicked it and made it. Like
Wow.
he's literally at a 60, and then they marched him out there for a 71-yarder. But then Mike McCarthy was like, you know what? Let's kneel the ball. He was going to try it. I had to say that because it's just incredible. Now you're like, if your kicker can't hit a 55-yarder, he's cut. It's almost automatic at this point, unless you're Jake Moody in the Super Bowl and you miss an extra point. But I digress.
Now, why is you bad about my boy, man? Come on.
Wait, what'd you say, Mike?
I said, shout out to Moody. He got me 30 points in fantasy.
He did right. Yeah, he was cooking.
Yeah,
that's crazy. 30 points. Wow.
Yeah.
Yo, 50 yarders was meaningful. I'm saying, these kickers was putting up numbers. Look at the sets of kickers this week in fantasy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
All of them cooked.
Speaking of fantasy, really quick before we get to our picks, I beat Nas this week in our basketball league, so in your face. Just saying. All right, let's get to our picks. Scott, put up the standings right here. Let's go. So last week, no winning records. Sir went 1-1-1. Nas, Mike, and myself went 1-2. I blame the Rams for sucking and having to go in overtime. Regardless, rough start, like Mike said in the text chat today. It's tough, week 1. But, sir, I'm expecting some over and unders from you this week since you went 1-1-1. And since you didn't have a losing record and your winning percentage is the higher, we'll start with you. Go on.
Well, Scott, the fact that you expect over unders from me this week, you know what? You ain't getting no over under from me this week.
Oh my God! Look at you! You're feeling yourself, man.
3 spreads. I went 1-1-1, and my only loss was an over under. So you know what? I'm gonna leave them alone for this week. So, first pick. I picked against this team last week, and they did me well. Give me the Washington Commanders -1.5 over the New York Football Giants. You don't see Daniel Jones play last week, bro.
Unfortunately.
If you take your hard-earned money at your pocket and bet Daniel Jones to do something, man, just hit me, just give me the money to me. You know what I'm saying? Not advised. Like, that brother's awful. As soon as he can prove me otherwise, I'm betting against the Giants.
I like how you said that and followed it with "that's not advised." It made me laugh.
Yeah, don't bet on Daniel Jones. It's not advised. So I'm gonna keep betting against Daniel Jones until he proves otherwise.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? Second week, this team proved that. Apparently, I thought the team would be better, but apparently they still suck. Give me the Chargers -6 against the Panthers. I thought the Panthers would be much improved this year.
Yeah.
But they got the brakes beat off them by the New Orleans Saints, who probably ain't gonna be very good either.
Yeah.
Like, give me Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh actually impressed me. Like, came back in football and like first game got a W. Good for him. Give me the Chargers -6. Game 3, this game would be different if the quarterback was playing, but he's not. Give me the Colts -3 over the Packers. Jordan Love is not playing. Malik Willis, I've seen him play. Not very good. Give me Anthony Richardson and them boys -3 against the Green Bay Packers.
All right, Sergo with 3 favorites. Mike, we'll go down to you. Let's see how you do here.
So I'm going to go to that Giants Redskins game. I'm on board with Sir. I kind of want to, since he took the, I'll take the under 44.5 on that game.
Okay.
I do think the Redskins do win that game also, or the Commanders. I'm sorry.
The Commanders. Put some respect on them. Come on.
So some respect on the football team.
Yeah. The Washington football team. Let's go.
And then for my second pick, I'm going to take the Jags -3 against the Browns.
Like
Deshaun Watson, either him or Will Levis or Daniel Jones, those 3 were the worst quarterbacks in week 1.
Excuse me, sir. First of all, Bryce Young wants to say hello.
Deshaun Watson did lose.
Oh, Bryce Young, yeah. Bryce
Young is trash kids, but I digress. Go continue.
Sir, stop getting involved in his picks. Let the man pick.
My bad. I'm gonna step back. My bad.
There was a lot of bad quarterbacks week 1. Let's leave it at that. And Deshaun Watson was up there. So I do think the Jags played well against the Dolphins. I mean, they had him pretty much the whole game, and
should have won
at the end. Jason Sanders made a crazy field goal. And for my last pick, I'm going to pick a guy who's 10-2 against this team. I don't know if you can see this in the picture or not. Let's see.
Nope, absolutely not.
No, still can't. Josh Allen. Okay, what do you got?
He's holding a dolphin eating a dolphin with a baby bottle. So
that's nice.
I'm taking the Bills +2.5. He's 10-2 against the Dolphins. He owns the Dolphins. He's the Dolphins' daddy.
Okay.
I like the pick, but it's not one of my picks. I like the Dolphins. Just saying that. Go on, Nas. I'll go last here. What do you got?
All right. So my first pick is I'm gonna go the Dolphins -2.5.
Oh.
I feel like they come out and play a lot better than they did week 1. We all know the incident with Tyreek Hill or whatever. That kind of probably was like a mood in the locker room, set the tone. But I feel like tomorrow they come out and play 100% better than what we know as the Dolphins. My second pick, come on, how can I not? We're gonna pick the Patriots plus 3.5.
You're feeling your boy. I like it. Let's get it. I like it.
At home, I think the defense plays well. Seattle struggled last week against Bo Nix and the Broncos. I feel like we run the football, time of possession again, and we get the win. I think we win, but I'll take the 3.5. My third pick is I'm gonna go Cowboys minus 6.5. I think the Saints going to Jerry's world. I don't think that's a good matchup for them, so I'm gonna take the Cowboys minus 6.5.
Well, there is some ground to make up here because I only have one pick that's similar to yours, so a lot of different picks here. I'm going to go with 3 favorites. So, first game I'm starting off with, this team had 10 days off. They're not going 0-2. The team they're playing has to fly from the West Coast to the East Coast. I'm going with the Ravens minus 9 versus the Raiders. This is a get-right game. This is going to be one of those 34-17, 34-10 games. Not even going to be close at the end. So, give me the Ravens minus 9 because they have to go to Dallas in week 3. And if they start off 0-2, that's a tough game in Dallas that next week. So, also, too, I'd rather have them 1-1 playing the Cowboys because I don't like the 0-2 Ravens coming into Dallas. So Baltimore minus 9. Next one, Nas, I'm with you. I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys minus 6.5. I don't care that the Saints beat up on the Panthers. Whatever. I like Dallas, who's won 16 straight home regular season games. I believe they're 8-0 there last year. They dominated home. The Saints aren't any good, and even when the Saints were good with Drew Brees and all those players, the Cowboys tend to play well versus New Orleans. They always have. I remember Romo beat them when they were 13-0. Dak beat them when they were 11-1 year. So give me the Cowboys minus 6.5. Last one, I'm staying in the state of Texas. The Bears stink. That was a lucky win. They shouldn't win. Give me the Texans minus 6.5 on the Sunday night game. I think that'll be another 27-17. Like 6.5 is nothing.
Don't sleep on the Bears defense.
They stink. Their first road, that's fine. That's great. They're on the road. They're gonna put up 12 points, maybe.
Their defense does not stink.
They stink. They stink as a whole. Their defense will get tired, and you know what? We'll see. Give me the Texans minus 6.5. We'll see.
Hold on. So I have an honorable mention because I'm surprised nobody picked this. Yo, I was thinking Tampa Bay plus 7.5 over Detroit. I was thinking about it.
I like that hook.
I was looking at that hook. 7.5. I was looking at that. I was like, yo, I'm thinking about it, but I didn't pull the trigger. But watch out for
They surprised me week 1. I didn't think they would come like that.
Matt Stafford was cooking like with Goff. I mean with Cooper Kupp and Puka. Puka got hurt. And then now you got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Yo,
but that's always gonna happen when Matt Stafford play the Lions. I feel like, especially with the history with the franchise. So I feel like every time he plays them, he tries his best to ball out. But Cooper Kupp did look good. He looked in real form.
That's a fact. But you tell me Baker can't do that with Mike Evans and Cooper and Godwin.
I personally don't trust Baker, but that's another topic for another day.
Understood. I'm just saying though, he might be alright.
Just I was going to take the over in that game, but the Rams.
You know the over, but I'm saying plus 7.5. That could be a close game. It could be I can see Detroit winning, but maybe by 3-4.
Oh, just because you don't have the balls to put in your picks, I hope they win and they cover, and it screws you from a victory. So
I didn't think of them. You have my picks. I just said
that's why I hope they win and do that, so it doesn't count towards you and you regret it. You know?
I ain't gonna regret it. I'm just saying.
All right, that's our picks for week 2. Good luck. If you win money on them, then you could give us credit. If you lose, then that's your fault for listening to 4 idiots. So go fuck yourselves. All right, let's go to our fantasy sleeper really quick. Last week, no one really hit on theirs except Mike, which we'll give him a final segment for it. His little his food for thought at the end. Nas's would have hit if Lamar Jackson could make a throw, but he didn't, so it is what it is. My fantasy sleeper, some might not call it a sleeper, but I went through the pricing. Aaron Rodgers is only $5,900 as a quarterback. He's one of the lowest rated quarterback pricing as far as the starters. I think that him at the Tennessee Titans, I know our defense is pretty good, but I have a feeling he could come out here and throw 3 touchdowns, and for that price, I think it's kind of worth it. Sir, who you got?
Scott, my pick has something to do with Aaron Rodgers. It's the wide receiver, Alan Lazard. Minus at 3,300.
That's good.
Him and Rodgers got a little rapport going back to the Green Bay days. Lazard he was doing all right against the Niners defense. Like he dropped a couple passes that he should have caught, but he got about 9 targets, something like that. He caught 6 receptions for 89 yards. He did all
So
right.
if you listen to me and Sir, you're getting a wide receiver and a quarterback for only 9,200, and you could fill up the rest of your roster pretty damn well.
Exactly. You could put some stuff. You could put some stuff in that lineup. Rogers, Lazard, and then cook them with studs. You'd be all right.
Yeah, Nas, you got.
I like Jamison Williams from Detroit. I feel like he's finally getting his head on his shoulders, on the right track. Amaron didn't really play too well last week, but I feel like that was because of Jamison Williams. But I feel like they both would get a share load of targets and receptions. And if Sir's right about the Bucks stepping up in Detroit, Jared Goff's going to have to throw it. So I feel like.
Right. Mike, you were the winner last week with your Shakir pick. So who you got this week?
Going back to the well. I'm going back to Shakir at $5,300. I mean, that's still cheap, dude. He's the number one receiver. He's going to get a lot of targets, and he's so underrated with the Bills, man. I don't know if you saw his touchdown, but it was a little Hines Ward-esque.
Okay. This guy, we're going to have to deal with this for 18 weeks. His Bills nonsense. All right, Mike. So last segment of the week, since you won on the Fantasy Sleeper, you get the thumbs up, thumbs down segment this week where you give who your thumbs up is for the week, someone or some team who had a great performance, and your thumbs down. So who you got for your thumbs up?
My thumbs up has to go with Sir's running back, Jordan Mason, man. The guy wasn't even told he was starting. Kyle Shanahan kind of blew that interview at the end of the game. I don't know what he was talking about, but supposedly he didn't even know he was starting until the last second before the game started. So, and he balled out 100+ yards, a touchdown. So, guys, undrafted, if I'm not mistaken. I think he had a ball out game, man. I'm really
not for nothing. Shanahan knows how to put the running backs in there because he has a history of putting running backs out there and they run for 100 yards, easy money. So,
all right, Mike, who's your thumbs down?
My thumbs down has to be the Tennessee Titans. I mean, literally, their offense was abysmal. If their offense doesn't touch the field, I think they win the game.
Probably.
Will Levis threw that pick 6 off his knees.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And I think their special teams blocked a field goal or something. So, I mean, yeah, the Titans were really bad, and that might be a continuation for the whole season.
Can I give a quick thumbs down?
You didn't win this week, sir.
Okay, I'll leave it alone then. My bad. Go ahead.
But I will give you an honorary one because you dedicated this time on the beach. You took time out of your Wildwood trip to do this. So
I'm not here.
So give us your thumbs down. This is a one-time thing.
A thumbs down. Now I know it makes you happy, but honorable mention, Cincinnati Bengals. How you lose to the Patriots? Come on, bro. Yo, Joe Burrow. You got Jamar Chase out there. Y'all supposed to cook these boys. How you lose to them? Honorable thumbs down, Joe Burrow and the Bengals. You catch this L right quick.
All right, so that's Sir's thumbs down that he didn't earn, but it is.
You don't need to lose to the Patriots. Come on now.
God,
time of possession and
defense. You don't disrespect a team like that,
time of possession and defense, man. Don't sleep on us. I'm telling you, we will not finish last in the AFC East. You can, I'm looking at everybody. I'm looking at everybody.
You know we're beating the Bengals.
I see everybody. Remember these faces. I remember it.
I can't wait to edit that in when the Patriots go 4-13.
The over/under was 4.5 wins.
I hope you beat
Joe Burrow. Come on now.
They got a good shot to go 2-0 at least, so that's a plus. All right, guys, that's week 2 in the books. We'll be back next week. Take a break from all the BS going on. Hope you enjoyed this after last night's presidential debate. So it's a little break from reality for a little bit. Also, catch all of us at TruExact Radio, and there's a link to some merchandise for us in the YouTube comment section. So support us. I swear to God, we're not making money off this.
Get some merch.
Go cop that.
We had a couple orders earlier today. Had to send some stuff out. So
fire, man. Go get some merch.
Go cop that. We out here.